Hello and welcome to another vlog. This one was supposed to be at the end of December, but well, it's 2017 already. You'll have to forgive me for that one. A variety of things going on, obviously New Year and Christmas meant that I was unable to record towards the end of the year. And then, as luck would have it, I became ill shortly after New Year. Well, the first day I was hungover, I'll admit that much. Second, third days of January though, no, I was, I think I caught mini flu or a cold or something. But I'm finally in a state where I'm prepared to drink again, and I have a rather interesting one. It's another Belgian ale. It's called Brise Bonbon, which I believe is French for ball breaker. Well, brise means to break, and bonbon means bonbons, so it's bonbon breaker, quite literally. But I guess that's that's the French equivalent of ball breaker. There's a bit on the back. Let's see. Fantôme is a classic, blah, 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 blah. No. Where is it? 8%, by the way, so it's quite a strong one, and it's a big bottle as well, so we'll get some mileage out of this. With joy and a little bit of mischief, Fantôme Brewer, Danny Prignon, dedicates this very bitter beer to all of the many varieties of Brise Bonbon, literally ball breakers, in the world. Specifically, this beer is meant for wise guys, braggarts, pains in the ass, muckrakers, troublemakers, know-it-alls, stuffed shirts, blowhards, and bores, as well as nutcracking, windbag, prattling on, self-appointed experts on everything, and nose-in-the-air snobs convinced that they can do anything better than you. Danny intended to make a beer too bitter for a normal person to enjoy. The problem is, everybody loves it. I guess we're all just a bunch of Brise Bonbons sometimes. It's an odd one. I'll try and show you the label, which will probably be backwards, because I'll mirror. Anyway, there it is. It's got a nice sumo wrestler on the front. Qu'avez-vous tu casser un noble briseur? I don't know what that means. Qu'avez-vous tu casser noble briseur? I don't know. Anyway, let's open her up. Because it's already quite late. It's about 11 o'clock at night. And I don't get a choice on whether I have an early start or not. There is going to be an early start. So I best drink this one quick. Generally the best strategy with higher alcohol beers anyway. If I drag this out over 2 hours, I'll be pretty far gone by the end. So big gulps, and we'll make it through. So it has a cap and a cork. Ooh, and it has a bit of a pop to it as well. I wasn't expecting that. So this is it's a saison, I think, which is a spontaneously fermented beer, which means it'll be a little bit sour, which is, fitting given the name of it. Ooh, slippery bottle. Give it a pour into my Brewdog Teku, which is my glass of choice for the finer beer. Quite a head on it, as you can see. I'll have to excuse my pouring skills. There we go, it's quite a nice colour, like a... that's definitely an amber, I'd say. Smells fresh, bready. Actually, doesn't smell too bitter at all. I suppose the bitter's in the taste, mind you. Yes. It is bitter. There is definitely a bitterness there, but it's not an unpleasant bitterness. But it's very bitter. Oh. Definitely its defining taste. It's like there's this quite nice, pleasant beer, and then there's this very bitter line drawn all the way through it. I'll be tasting that one on the morrow. I'll wake up and I'll probably have... What can I taste that's bitter? I can see this one probably not for everyone, but it's drinkable enough. So what have I been doing? I've been on the bow and arrow video still. The good news is I'm in the final leg of that. I've moved on to the modern era, so I'm doing sort of post-apocalyptic use of the bow now, and sort of contemporary use. Think about the Hunger Games, for instance, and pretty much every single survival sim out there. That's the sort of thing I've been doing. I also talk briefly about archery as a sport in a modern sense, because there are quite a few games which cover the sport of archery. Pretty much any Olympic game will have it. I think Wii Sports Resort has it. Deca Sports Freedom, which was a Wii Sports ripoff. Oh, and Probably Archery, which is a bit like QWOP, but for archery, which I don't really like. I never really liked the games where the controls being hard is the game. But novel enough, I suppose. Anyway, so we are approaching the end of the video, which I'm very relieved about because it's been going on too long. Oh, sorry, I'm getting messages on Discord. I'm going to take some questions off Discord today, but we'll get to that. I'll do the usuals. We've done the beer, opened that up, had a taste. I'll tell you how that develops. And then we talk about current business. And then, anyway. I'm a bit disorganised today. I've had to fight to fit this in, really. I was at a children's party earlier. I mean, this is my life now. Seeing other children, having them sneeze in my face and stuff. I'll probably get sick again before the week's out. Oh, it's all right there. It's all right. I mean, it's fine. There was some party food, so it's not all bad. But yes, very tired. I don't do well with late nights. New Year was a particular struggle. I think we had friends over to like 3, 4 a.m. and then the baby wakes up at 7. Yeah, that's none too pleasant, I tell you. Couple that with a hangover, and I wasn't feeling it on New Year's Day. But yeah. So as far as my goals for January are concerned, which is almost a third of the way gone already, my principal goal is finishing the bow and arrow. I have to do it. Has to be done. Can't waste another month on it. But the good news is I don't have to rush it. I just have to keep on going. I just have to get it out the door. Stay focused. Don't let anything fritter my time away. No more distractions. Like December, I had Christmas. Went home for a few days. Oh, lost a week pretty much. We also had my son started nursery last month, and the induction. It's a bit of a pain actually. I had to go in once a day, every single day, in increasing amounts, which meant for the first few days we were only there for like an hour or two. But still, yeah, that kind of wasted a lot of time. Anyway. I like January because nothing happens. Everybody's just sad and depressed and they start their diets and gym plans or whatever, but nothing happens. There's no real social plans going on. Brilliant. It means I might actually have a few clear weeks. Got Valentine's Day in February, but I'll worry about that later. So yeah, hopefully. Just need to stay focused. Just need to... I'm at the point now where I'm within sprinting distance of the finish of this damn video. But even so, it's a few days' work left yet. And I don't mean a few days in terms of time elapsed. I mean a few days in terms of actually being able to work. But the good news is with my son being in nursery, I do get an extra day a week now, which is great news. So it means, yeah, that's 25% boost to productivity right there. It's just, that's the hardest thing really about having a kid is you've got to, if you work from home, you really have to relearn how to work. Because distraction-free time, you just can't take it for granted. So that's my key goal for January. My other goal is to do a bonus video because the poor non-Patreon folk haven't had a bonus video in an awfully long time. And I think in the last one I mentioned I'd like to do one a month, which is absolutely true. I would love to do one a month. I think it's about the right level for right now. But the trouble is, bonus occupies the most delectable, the most juicy part of my free time, and that is free time with the guarantee of no distractions, which is a very valuable part of my day, if it ever comes around. So, so it always comes down to a choice. Do I make progress on my video, or do I do a bonus video? And it always comes down to doing the video work, because I want to get the video done, because that's what drives me, that's what makes me happy. But nevertheless, I do want to do a bonus video in January. I'll probably do it as soon as I finish the bow and arrow video. Do the bow and arrow, major goal, do a bonus straight after, minor goal, and then probably do another vlog as well at that point. Because we're due 2 this month, aren't we? And I've fallen a bit behind. I was pushing the end of the month anyway, and then all of a sudden, Christmas came around, New Year, I missed the end of December, and here we are, a week into January, coming up with a December vlog. It's a terrible state. I need to catch up. Unfortunately, this means I need to buy some more interesting beers, because this is my last interesting beer, at least of a size like that. Maybe I'll start doing smaller beers. I don't know. I don't know, some people might be disappointed if the vlogs are only like 40 minutes, say. But we'll see. So those are my January goals. I think they're attainable, but... famous last words, eh? What about 2017? Oh, it's a new year already, isn't it? 2017, what goals do I have for 2017? I really want to I need to focus on finding my stride. That's my major thing. Actually turning out videos at a reasonable pace. Not every week. The sort of thing that I do can't be done every week. But once a month. I mean, at least. That'd be nice. So we'll see. I think I might try some exercises this year in shorter, faster videos. I may even set myself a challenge of I might devote a single day to doing one video. See if I can do that. A short one, obviously, maybe 3 to 5 minutes long. But yeah, you've got, say, 12 hours to work. Can you do a 5-minute video? Interesting. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. I'd have to make some concessions. There are certain things I can't do. But I think that would be a good exercise for speeding up. So that's something I'll try. My main goal, well, I say it's a goal, not really a goal. What I'd like to do is, I think reaching 1 million subscribers this year, that's kind of, for the channel, it's a pointless milestone, but it's a pretty good psychological one. Anyway, I have here Discord. If you're not on the Discord, you should probably think about maybe, if you wanted to, joining. I mean, it's up to you, really. But it's quite good fun. Whenever I'm awake and on the computer, I'll be on it. And, I like to chat to you guys. It's nice. It's probably a waste of time thinking about it, but maybe it's good for morale. I don't know. So I asked the Discord for questions and topics, because I thought, it'd be nice maybe to have a little bit more interaction going on. So let's see. Jareth Treble Zero says, how's the Royal Post thing going? Ah yes, my Royal Mail P.O. box. This has been a right pain in the behind, it really has. I thought it would be a simple thing, you set it up, you fill in your details, you pay your money, and then it works. But it turns out this isn't the case with Royal Mail, and I've had nothing but trouble with this, because I've had nothing through still. Still, nothing. I don't know where my mail must be going to the sorting office, because that's where it's addressed. So it must be there, and I presume they're not throwing it out. I mean, I'd hope they're not. I mean, I trust them enough not to do that. But I don't know what they're doing with it, because they're supposed to deliver it here, but they're not. Anyway, I've had I had an inquiry open in December, and it seemed promising, There was an invoicing error. They attributed my payment for the service to the wrong account number, which meant there was no payment on the account, which probably caused some issues. But that's been fixed. I fixed that in December. I had to uncover it first, and then I fixed it. And then following that, I had another promising email chain going on. I think, I had a phone call with someone and they promised they'd get the delivery office to contact me. And I'm going to be honest with you, that line of inquiry just died a death before Christmas. And I think it's up to me to pick it up again, unfortunately. So I'll do that soon. I shouldn't have to, but if I didn't, nothing would happen. Really, what I should do is I should actually go to the sorting office and see if I can pick up stuff. But I don't know. I'm annoyed with it. I'm really annoyed with the whole scenario. So I'll stop talking about it before I say a rude word or something. Jaira Mipo says, looking forward to any games in 2017. I'm a bit out of touch, I'll have to be honest with you. In terms of games that are coming out, I'm really not sure. Are there any big games coming out? I actually don't know. Nothing that comes to mind. I mean, I'm up to date on new releases. I bought a bunch of games over Christmas, so I've played all the big games. I don't know. I can't say that I'm looking forward to anything in particular. But then the hype cycle for this year hasn't quite started. Oh, there is Mass Effect Andromeda. That's supposed to be coming sort of Easter, isn't it? I don't know if I'm excited for that. I'm curious. I give it a chance. Chemical Sora says, share your choice of best Persona 4 girl. Well, I've not really played the Persona games, but just going by screenshots and pictures, I always liked Rise, although I don't think it is Rise, I think it's Rise, or some Japanese thing. But apparently that's the wrong choice. I don't know. You're supposed to choose best girl, and then you choose the best girl, and then, oh, actually, no, it turns out that's not the best girl. Chi is the best girl, or however it's pronounced. I don't know. The goddamn sex robot says, who would win in a fight, Superman or Goku? I don't know who either of those people are, so... I do know who both Superman and Goku are. I'm less familiar with Dragon Ball Z. My limit of knowledge on Dragon Ball Z is power level is over 9,000, and like the orange balls with the red stars on. That's it. That's literally all I know. Oh, and Goku. And I think there's a 4chan meme in which one of the characters has sex with the other, and you've got to reply, thanks, Doc, in response to that. Yeah. I've never watched the cartoon or anime. Crazy Owl says, Game of the Year of the Year. My Game of the Year. I don't know. I don't think it was... Yeah, it was an okay year for games. It was okay. There were some decent ones. I've seen a lot of people have been naming Doom as their Game of the Year. It's not mine. I thought it was a neat FPS. I thought, as far as modern FPS games go, it was interesting. Yeah, it took a novel approach on the flow of combat, and I liked that. But for me, it was an 8 out of 10. I don't think it was, I didn't like it that much. Like, I played through the campaign once, and I haven't touched it since. I mean, if we're going to talk about FPS games, I preferred Call of Juarez Gunslinger to the new Doom. That Gunslinger for me was a 10 out of 10. Doom, I thought the plot was a little bit weak, and there were some glaring flaws with the actual gameplay. Like, I really didn't like the platforming bits. But, hey-ho. It was pretty good, yeah, I enjoyed it. Not my Game of the Year. The game that I eked most enjoyment out of this year, probably Forza Horizon 3. But I say that with the caveat that I'm a bit of a Forza fanboy, and I know that not everybody is. So, I mean, I enjoyed it, and if you like driving games, I'd recommend you try it. But if you don't, then, well, probably not for you then. But yeah, the game that I enjoyed the most this year, Forza Horizon 3. But it was very similar to Forza Horizon 2, so I wouldn't praise it for innovation or anything like that. Other contenders, Civilization 6, which is, yeah, I like Civilization, I do. It's one of my favourite games of all time. I'd probably rate the franchise as my favourite game of all time, in fact. Because it is the one that I can just sink hours and hours into. And Civ 6, yeah, it's pretty good. If I wanted to play a game of Civ, that's the one I'll reach for now. But, I don't know. I'm trying to think, what else have I played? I played a bunch of games. Not all of them came out in 2016, though, that's the trouble. I played a lot of 7 Days to Die. I quite enjoy that game. It's... I treat it as a base building game with a side of zombies. And I like farming as well. It's my sort of go-to relaxing game. My game of the year, they're probably... I don't know, I'd probably agree with Total Biscuit's assessment and go for XCOM 2. I think that was... Do you know, XCOM 2, for me, was a genuine improvement on the first one. I think the first one had a lot of frustrating elements, and they managed to strip away a lot of that without compromising the difficulty too much. I think XCOM 2 is an easier game than the first one, but it's still pretty challenging in places, certainly. And I really liked it. The fact that you can play it one-handed as well, for me, was a boon. That was when the baby was a wee babe in arms, so I could hold him with one hand, mouse-free. You could play it one-handed. Brilliant. So I played an awful lot holding the baby and, doing the whole strategy thing with the right hand. And I like to think the baby enjoyed it as well. I like to think he did. It's impossible to tell, though. Of course, now he doesn't sit nicely. He likes to touch and interact and grab. He's actually very good with buttons and mice and things. He knows perfectly well how to operate them and to do the most damage with a single... the least amount of action. Very good with an Xbox controller as well. It's worrying, but... So yeah, it's not with all my heart, but I'd say probably XCOM 2 is my game of the year. Hasn't been the best year for gaming for me, though, so... I don't know. Anyway, 5 Veteran says, what kind of villain would you be in the DC universe? Probably like... Ozymandias. Ozymandias. I don't know how you pronounce it, actually. Yeah, from The Watchmen. Because he's clever, and he also... the reveal of his plan. Whoa, why are you telling us? What sort of madman would do... You fools, I did this 30 minutes ago. What? Yeah, anyway, like that, yeah. And it's also, I like the ambiguous morals in The Watchmen. And the squid monster. Santi says, Queen or the Beatles? For me, probably Queen. I can respect the Beatles for what they are and what they did, but, in terms of personal, subjective musical taste, never really jived with the Beatles. Radon asks, top 5 Ahoy Patreon vlogs. This is number 4, isn't it? I don't know. Ask me in a while. The goddamn sex robot says, again, is it true that if you fart and sneeze at the same time, you explode? No, I don't think it is. Ashfire908 says, how many licks does it take to get to the centre of the Tootsie Pop? No idea, we don't have Tootsie Pops here. Efreeti says, what's your top 3 games when it comes to a weapon customization? Oh, weapon customization. The Crysis series has always been pretty good for that. I liked the sort of, the menu where you sort of lift up the weapon in front of your face and you can make the choices. Oh, I'd have to think about a top 3, though. Actually, I'm just going to give you a top 1. The Crysis series. Trying to think. No, can't think of any others. I mean, the Call of Duty series aren't bad, but anyway, yeah. Crysis 1, Crysis 2, Crysis 3. Boom, there we go, top 3. Verbalocity says, favourite game to play if you are wanting to unwind? This changes, obviously, this changes from time to time. It's not always going to be the same set of games. But speaking right now, if I actually had free time and that I would feel non-guilty about using or abusing, what would I play? Civilization 6, that would be there. Forza Horizon 3, there's the DLC. I'd probably think about playing some of that. 7 Days to Die. I can always waste a few hours in 7 Days to Die. What else? Oh, Skyrim Remastered. I bought that for the bow and arrow video, and I started playing it a couple of acts back. It's for the medieval/fantasy bit, the midsection. And I kind of got into it again, accidentally. So I've been playing that. So yeah, one of those. Doesn't really matter. I'm happy to play anything. What else did I play recently? Oh, I played The Long Dark. I played that for an awfully long time. This is, again, for the bow and arrow, but I quite enjoyed that. That was quite comfy. I was trying to make a bow. I was trying to either find a bow, which was impossible. Well, it's not impossible. You have to go to there's a few locations where you find a bow. And I had the maps, but I thought, you know what, I'll just make a bow. Easy. All I need to do is find some maple saplings. Right. Okay. I looked at the maps, looked at all the maple sapling locations, went to them all, and because, of course, it's a survival sim, you can't just visit them in turn, because it gets dark, and you get cold, and you get hungry, and you've got to satisfy these needs. So I used to, I'd go on a different expedition each day, and I'd pick up firewood to survive or whatever, and eventually I ended up in, I think it's Pleasant Valley, with a farmhouse. That was my main base. And every single maple location in Pleasant Valley didn't have any maple saplings. So my efforts to get a bow were buggered, quite frankly. Which was a pain, because I was wasting time. This is work time, valuable work time. I'm trying to get a bow for like a 10-second clip in a survival game that people wouldn't care if it wasn't there. And I'm wasting time. But I was having fun. That's the main thing. Anyway, it turns out I had to go to the next location. I went to the coastal highway. And eventually I found some maple there. And then, of course, you've got to cure the maple. Yeah, I know, right? Which takes 6 days. 6 days more surviving. Yeah, fine. And then once you've done that, also you need some cured gut. Simple enough. And then once you've done that, boom, bada bing, bada bum, bada bum. You've got a bow. Simple enough. Arrows, pain in the arse to make. Luckily, I found a bunch. I had about 4 or 5 arrows in total. And then, actually made the bow. Next day, went out hunting, killed a couple of deer. Boom, there's my clip. Done. Anyway, yeah. The challenges I have to do to sort of get the clips I need. Anyway. Okay, Chemical Saurus says, when's the next bonus? I've already told you, it's coming in January. Probably, if I get the time. After the bow and arrow video. I do want to do one. Crazy Owl says, would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I'd rather talk it out, Because the last thing I want to have to do is kick 100 duck-sized horses to death. It's going to be messy. Chemical Sora, have you sold the Titanfall 2 copies you've got yet? No, I still have them. I need to give them away. If you would like a copy of Titanfall 2, let me know in the Discord and I'll sort you out. I've got 4 copies going spare, I think. I did have 5, but I've kept one for my spare. I've got a downstairs copy and an upstairs copy. It's decadence. Pure decadence. All right. Oh, right. Question sent here. Where are you? Okay, from Zach Wave. What was the first game that really impressed you graphically? What about the first 3D game? Do you think the transition from 2D to 3D, the mid-90s push for polygons, to be comparable to now with VR? The first game that impressed me graphically. This is probably not going to impress anybody graphically today, but I'm thinking it's probably on the Spectrum. The Spectrum is one of the first systems I played a lot on. And some of the games looked a lot better than others. I'm trying to think. Some of Rare or Ultimate Play the Game stuff, that actually looked really nice. Like, what's it called? Head Over Heels. It's isometric. Isometric! That was impressive to me back then. I can't remember. What's the other one called? There's something similarly isometric with Rita in the name. I can't remember. Something about extermination. Anyway, that was impressive to me. There was a side shooter in the vein of Contra. I didn't have an NES. I just had a Spectrum. So anything. It had big sprites. It had fast action. I can't remember what it was called. Urban Commando, maybe? That impressed me. The sprites were huge and the game was pretty colourful. But yeah, I mean, I remember these being impressive for the time, but they're not impressive anymore. The jump to 16-bit, I do remember. Christmas 1991, I got myself an A500 Plus, and there were some seriously impressive graphics to be had, compared to the Spectrum at least, with that. I think the most memorable thing is probably the introduction sequence to Bart versus the Space Mutants, which it had it came on 2 discs. The first disc was basically an animated introduction to the game, and it had full screen animation and it had voice clips from The Simpsons, and it was actually pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty darn cool actually. So yeah, the Bart versus the Space Mutants on the Amiga, the introduction to that blew me away, I think. First 3D game. First 3D game. I don't know. I mean, I always did like 3D. 3D was the cool hotness in the early 90s. So, the earlier stuff I played, probably... can't remember the first 3D game I played. Might be F-18 Interceptor, which is a pretty good flight sim, all things considered. And what else? What's the other one? 3D... I can't remember. What was it? I had one just then. Oh, Jeff Crowan's Formula 1 Grand Prix. That was pretty cool. Of course, the frame rates back then, not spectacular. 10 frames per second was good. Do I think the transition from 2D to 3D, the mid-90s push for polygons, to be comparable to now with VR? There are similar elements, certainly parallel. But I think even back then, back in the sort of the early 90s, there was this push for VR even back then. Except back then you had to wear a television on your head, and you weren't getting decent frame rates still. I think, what was it called? It's Actuality. I think it was a system on the Amiga. And it was pretty cool. I don't think it was even 3D. I don't think it was binocular, which is a bit shoddy, to be honest. But, I mean, VR is one of those things that's been around for a while now, and it repeats itself. But, I don't know, you can't stand in the same river twice, so it's not exactly the same. But yeah, I mean, it's always the same with new technology. There's always a hype cycle. Second question. Do you think 2D games are furthermore going to remain a subgenre focused on trying really hard to capture the feel and joy of a bygone era? No, I don't think so. I think that a large number of 2D games do capitalise on that, but I don't think it's intrinsic to 2D. I think, certainly, there is very much the potential for 2D games which do push their own boundaries. One that comes to mind, Papers, Please, for instance. Nothing really like that prior. I mean, the graphics themselves kind of evoke an earlier era, but the gameplay, which is the important part, I think that did pretty well. Anyway. Right. Okay. Crazy Al, how much money do I have to send you to do one vodka shot in the next vlog? You could pay me back the money you already owe me, Al. How about that? Da, 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 da. Pain in the ass says, if I'm not too late, games you're interested in coming this. I've already answered that question. Anyway, yeah, okay, so that's about the questions for that's. Oh, there's one more from Hoganhammer. Hoganhammer, you're a bit of an Xbox guy at heart. What are your thoughts on Project Scorpio? I think that's a pretty evil sounding name, isn't it? It reminds me of Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. But this is a weird generation for consoles, isn't it? It's like a generation and a half. You've got the PS4 Pro, you've got the Project Scorpio thing. Basically, it's the same as the Xbox One, but more powerful, which means you can do the same games, but with more resolutions, more frames, which is interesting. I don't know how it's going to pan out. General rule of thumb, when it comes to consoles, any peripheral is doomed to fail. That's a pretty hard rule, it really is. I mean, if you think about the Mega Drive, in order to extend the life of the Mega Drive, Mega CD failed. And the same goes with pretty much everything else. Console peripherals tend to be iffy. Now, you might point to the Kinect and say, well, look at that. That was a massive sales success. Yeah, it was a sales success, I think. And it probably made Microsoft a bit of money. But was the Kinect really a success? Really? Look in your heart of hearts and say to me the words. Say, the Kinect was an unmitigated success. You can't do it because it wasn't. Anyway. But these aren't really peripherals. These are two parallel, they're like two experiences. We kind of had this with the original Xbox. We had the arcade and the regular one and then the Elite. But that was just difference in hard drive space. This is something different, however. This is a difference in fidelity, which maybe it'll work. I don't know. This is new ground. This is something which hasn't really been tried before. Interesting. I am a bit of an Xbox guy, though. I will admit that. I do like my Xbox One. It's a nice little hub. I've got one upstairs, one downstairs. Mostly just watch TV and Blu-rays and stuff on the downstairs one, but, it's nice. If I wanted to play a game downstairs, I could, for instance. And if it's nice to have all your games available digitally when you sign in. So that's nice. And as for Project Scorpio, I do fancy buying one. I haven't bought a PS4 Pro. I'm unlikely to. But a Project Scorpio, I think maybe I might. Because, well, I mean, in a year or two, the chances of a hardware failure, it's insurance. You want to make sure you swap out your hardware. I'm thinking about getting rid of my old Xbox 360, replacing it with a newer slim one, or the E model, whatever the newest one is. Because I think the one that I've got, my current Xbox 360, the one that I record everything on, I think it's coming up 8 years old. I think I bought it in 2008, 2009. Oh, I don't know. It's old anyway, and it's noisy as hell. You can definitely tell when it's on. So at some point I might get, a new Xbox 360. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe if I buy the Project Scorpio, it'd be like a backup recording Xbox, except it will be my main recording Xbox. And then I'll have a backup. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I would quite like one. Because I'm all about, I do play a lot of games on consoles that I probably shouldn't. Probably should play on PC for better quality graphics, certainly now that I've got a new PC. And I do find myself, with a better graphics card and CPU, I do find myself playing games on the PC in favour now. Like, I've got a copy of Crysis 3 for both. I thought, well, I could play it on the 360, or I could play it at 60 frames a second on the PC. So I chose the PC. And, you know, I have no regrets, because it looks better and it plays nicer. So that's about all the questions from Discord anyway. Run through those pretty quickly. Well, reasonably quickly. Now I've just got to finish the beer. It is bitter, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's not the worst beer I've drunk. Oh, I've rather over-egged that. Yes. Spillage. So now I have run out of things to talk about, which is that's a right bit of a pain. Oh, there is one thing actually, which I should probably clean up. This is just a shirt from my laundry, I think. Yes, very professional. My laundry basket's just down there. You see, I conceal most of this from you. I like to have a professional facade. Like, this is an actual studio and not just a little hole in which I live and work. But the reality is very much that. This is a hole in which I live and work. Oh, bitter, bitter, bitter. So yes, Christmas. Christmas is very much a time of indulgence, isn't it, really? And there's one indulgence I've been after for a very long time. What I'm trying to say is I bought myself a Christmas present this year. And something I'm quite fond of is producing music. And it's very much a sideline for me. It's a hobby. It's not something, I don't want to be a professional musician or anything like that. I don't rate myself as a musician particularly. But I do like to dabble. And, you know, the best thing about doing the sort of thing that I do is that I do get to show off my sonic production, so to speak. And I was very wary about putting my own music in my videos at first. But I've come to realise that people simply don't care if you do that. And in fact, the opposite of that, people more than don't not care. They also do care, but they want to know more about their music. Yeah, which is quite flattering to a musician. You know, you put a soundtrack in and somebody says, "Oh, what's the music? I can't find it anywhere." You can't find it anywhere because it's only on that video. I made it especially for it. Check my SoundCloud. But I do see a lot of comments like that. And repetitive comments really get my goat. But people asking about the music is probably one that is repetitive, but it doesn't annoy me that much because it shows that people were interested, which is quite nice. It's flattering. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. I bought myself a Christmas present. It's a synthesizer. I bought myself a synthesizer because I wanted to. I checked. The last time I bought a synthesizer was 9 years ago. I bought a Korg, Micro Korg, which is a nice little thing. But it's a bit of I like it. But it's not the most fully featured synthesizer. It's a neat little, I don't want to call it a toy because it's not. But when it comes to sound design, it's a bit of an awkward thing to program. So I wanted something which was more fully featured, more modern. You know, a contemporary synth that evoked classic sounds whilst being very easy to program. And I wanted something particularly suited to soundtracks, to something which was, excellent on the sort of the ambient sounds, the delicate sounds, the long, drawn-out sounds. And there's a name in synthesizers which has a certain reputation for that sort of thing. There are some, Korg, obviously, they have pretty good reputation. Moog have this sort of very fat sound, the sort of brash, in-your-face funk. That's what Moog's all about. But there's another brand, a Swedish brand, who are known for their sort of fantastic sort of longer pads, drawn out notes, stuff like that. And that is Nord. And Nord has always been this sort of mythical name to me. Like, I've worked with samples in doing music production for decades. And you'd see, I see the names of these synthesizer brands in the samples. And, Korg, Moog, all of those come up. But Nord, they always had something about them, something very sort of ethereal, something just nice, really pleasant. I'm getting to it. All right, I bought a Nord, which for me is a bit of a dream. It's heavier than it looks. It is the Nord Lead A1, and I'd love to be able to show you what it sounds like, and I will, because it's going to feature in my videos in the future. But it's not plugged in for one, and it doesn't have any speakers built in because it's a synthesizer, not a keyboard. But it's a wonderful thing. Now, of course, these days, a lot of like VSTs, virtual instruments, they tend to be the way of doing things. But there is something to be said about the physical aspect of an instrument like this. Because when it comes to sound design, one of the things that's quite nice is to have a bank of knobs at your disposal. And this has a bank of knobs. I shall have to be careful with my beer. I can feel the alcohol coming in. And I'm very wary about, liquids, drunkenness, and expensive synthesizers. But yes, this is pure indulgence on my part. But it's something I've wanted for a while, and it's something that I do plan on putting into good use. And like I said, I'm not going to demonstrate it here and now. You can look it up on YouTube. There are plenty of demonstration videos on there with people who are probably more skilled than me. So yeah, Nord Lead A1. The Nord Lead is it's kind of their synthesizer. They do they do a range of stuff. They do pianos. They do the Nord Electros. I don't know what that is. I don't know. But the Nord Lead, pure synth. And it doesn't attempt to replicate anything. It is just pure electronic sound. It's got this wonderful sort of classic element to it, which I like. It fits in with my music very well. And I think it would probably serve as soundtrack style particularly well too. So I think I can do some pretty interesting things with this. Hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to put it down because it's quite heavy and very expensive. I love you, Nord. Must position it delicately. There we are. Okay. So that was my Christmas present to me. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for buying it, but then I also kind of don't feel bad because I wanted it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to do any more music for Iconic Arms for this season, but I don't know, maybe I feel like I need more ambient music. Because the longer the videos get, the more I need ambient music. So I think for season 4, I might do some new ambient tracks. I don't know. I'm not sure if people care about the music or not, but I like doing it, and I think I like to be the full package. I like to do the graphics, the sound, and the writing and the whole caboodle. I like to do that. It's nice to have that sort of creative imprint on everything. So I do enjoy the music, and I don't spend too long on it. The music only takes me a day or two, generally, because it's normally pretty quick to put together. I don't sweat over it too much. You just lay down some beats, lay down a bass line, put some strings on top, boom, you're done. Bitter. So bitter. So, actually, yeah, I'm quite optimistic. That's what I'm looking forward to, doing some music. It's nice. It's another creative outlet. I like doing cool graphics. I like doing cool music. And, I've always been a bit of a multimedia artist at heart, so being able to do both in a single project, thumbs up. I have to be honest, I didn't get much else. My wife, actually, she gave me some money towards the synthesizer, as did my parents. Which is, money's good. I'm sure you know. What else did I got? I got a pair of socks. I got some beef jerky off the in-laws. I do like beef jerky, but it is gone ever so quickly. I sort of rationed myself, no more than 1 packet of beef jerky a day, I say, and I stick to that. I genuinely do. But the trouble is, there's only, you have 1 packet a day, and then before you know it, it's all gone. And then, I tend to use it as a meal replacement. It's like concentrated beef. I love it. Probably more than I should. And that was about it. That was Christmas for me. I bought myself a synthesizer. But, hey, that's what Christmas is all about, really. I also drove home for Christmas, which is the longest journey I have ever made. I drove from Manchester to somewhere just outside of Preston, which I won't tell you for security reasons. But yeah, I drove. Well, me and the wife, we both live near Preston. Well, we live in Manchester, but our parents both live near Preston. That's how we met, actually. We went to the same high school. It's nice, romantic, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, we drove home. The roads, we got up. Son opened his Christmas presents. He's only 1 year old. 1 year old, I should say. He doesn't appreciate Christmas. He's very similar to me in that respect. He doesn't care. My wife loves Christmas. My son, Anyway, so he opened his presents. And then at 10 o'clock on Christmas Day, we drove home. It's about 50 miles. And I'm not confident enough to go in the motorways yet. So we took the A roads, which is fine. It's a nice little adventure. But the roads were dead quiet. It's quite nice in a way. Went through some pretty nasty roundabouts. There's some up near Trafford Way. Trafford going on to Salford, there's some pretty big nasty roundabouts. But they were clear, so it was actually fine. I could probably do them. I don't find roundabouts too hard, to be honest. Like when I was learning how to drive, the instructor was always like, "Are you not nervous about roundabouts?" No, not really. I kind of know how to do them. And I don't like it when you've got 2 lanes and there's cars in both lanes and you've got to switch lanes. I don't like that, I'll admit it. I'm not good at changing lanes because it requires a certain degree of confidence and concentration that a new driver tends not to have. Like, I'm not really good at lane merges and stuff. I mean, I'm not used to a car driving at above 50 miles an hour, never mind merging into lanes at the same time. But I'm getting, I'm far more confident than I was when I started, initially. Because I drive to the nursery once a week and then we tend to have a bit of an excursion as well. On Sundays, typically. We didn't go very far today. Just went into, we went to the local village centre for this children's party. Not a far drive at all. Didn't even have to go on the main road. Just pootled around the residential roads. Turned in, did an excellent bit of parking. It was fine. I was in the lines and everything. And then, had 2 hours of toddler soft play. And we attended an antenatal class a while ago now. And they hook you up with a group of people who are expecting at around the same time. And so, So we've been affixed to this group, and they all have their own babies, of course, and they're all developing at different rates and doing different things. But it's kind of a support network. So we have the occasional meetup, and it's fine. It's fine. It's quite. It sounds quite sort of macabre, but you sort of compare your child to their peers, and you sort of think, oh, he's not doing so badly then, because some of them aren't walking. The boy, I'm trying not to. I don't want to give his name away because I don't want to sort of reveal any sort of personal details. So he is perpetually going to be the boy, which I don't mind. I think it's quite funny. So the boy, yeah, he can walk. He's quite happy to walk. In fact, he was walking an awful lot today. He ended up in the car park at one point. Anyway, I was with him. I was holding his hand. We went for a walk together. It was nice. He wanted to get out. He was sick of the party. We went for a walk. We went all the way to the bottom of the car park, which was quite a distance for a 1-year-old. And then, well, I don't know. I interdicted at that point, and I said, all right, we're going back in, Robin. We've been out for a few minutes now. So I took him back into the party, popped him down, and he promptly walked out again. Right. I don't know why. It's a mystery. I do understand the boy. I do sort of, we have a certain affinity. I understand him. He is part of me. He is, as I am part of him, and we have a bond. We really do, because we spent a lot of time together. And I like him. He's a nice guy. I think he'll be all right once he gets into video games. But sometimes, he is pretty opaque, and I don't know what he wants or what he wants to do. He's not speaking. Well, he kind of does speak. He says dada, and he says mama, and he has some other sounds. Like he can wave, and he says aha for hello and stuff like that. But he's not really speaking yet. But he will do soon. He's not the lead speaker of our group of babies, but he's pretty good. Yeah, I think he's the most confident walker. He's the biggest. Like if there was a fight, if there was like a baby fight club, I think he would win. I'd put money on it, in fact. Not that I would condone such an awful, awful thing. But, you've got to back a winner. So anyway, yeah. Oh. Well, the worst part was the activities. They had like all these gym balls and you bounce on them, and then ribbons. Woo, ribbons. Oh, it's stimulating. I tell you, I don't know. They had like these lights shining on the ceiling. I wish I hadn't have driven there, quite frankly, because I would have been, once the bar opened, I would have quite liked to have a drink. Anyway. So that was, Sunday is family day. Sunday is the day that I promised not to work. Technically, recording this vlog is working, but, it's late. I suppose, whatever. I have to bend the rules, don't we? I have to get it done, I said. It's supposed to be in December, this. I know. Well, why didn't you do it? When you got back? Oh, I didn't have time. I was too drunk. I wasn't too drunk. I was fine. I did have a small window of opportunity. I got back on the 28th, I think. 28th, 29th, 30th. I think I worked instead. It's always the way. I always get this choice of, do I do the bonus or the vlog, or do I try and finish this damn bow and arrow video? And every single time I try and finish the video, because that's what I like doing the best, is finishing videos. I'm not very good at it, but I do try. Oh, well, we've just hit an hour, I think. That's all right. We've nearly finished as well. I'd like, an hour is a good time to finish up in, I think. I'm pretty tired. The sooner I finish, the more sleep I get. It's a fairly simple deal. So you'll excuse me if I feel rushed. But I do love sleeping. Oh, imagine that, being able to just like go to sleep and then like wake up whenever. Oh, can you imagine that? Whoa. I'm working tomorrow, which means I'll be able to tick off a few things. I might do a little bit of writing. I've got the 5th act to write. I've also got the intro and the outro to write. But, it's a big pile of work, but, you just got to chip away at it. Yeah. Hopefully I won't be too hungover. Hopefully I won't have a bitter taste in my mouth. I suspect I might still. Remind me to brush my teeth before I go to bed. But yeah, I'm so tired. So tired. I am starting to think that maybe seasons of 6 episodes, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I should stick to single episodes. Mix it up a little bit, Keep things varied. I think I'd like that. I think so. Maybe, committing to long runs of stuff is a pain. So maybe I'll just, I don't know, for Iconic Arms, maybe I'll do runs of 3 in the future. Maybe I'll plan to do 2 half seasons in relatively close proximity. And that just gives me a little bit of breathing room in the middle. I may yet do an interstitial project. I haven't decided yet, but I might, after the bow and arrow video, I might do something which isn't Iconic Arms, just for the sake of my own sanity. But it's not decided yet. But yeah, it's my dreams for the next couple of weeks. Sleeping, oh yes, sleeping would be nice. And finishing the bow and arrow video. I think that would be quite nice. Although, at the end of a long project, I never feel particularly fulfilled. It's always, I don't know. There's always that feeling of emptiness, like something's gone and you're just tired and you've been, working at it for so long, you just feel drained. And then all of a sudden, another project lines up waiting to be done and you think, really? Another one? But, I need to learn how to take breaks and how to sort of pace myself. But I do kind of feel bad, for being a slow video producer. Well, one man's slow is another man's diligent, I suppose. But I'm drawn to work. I can't not work. I'm lucky in a way that I've learned to have the discipline to stick to the same project. Because back when I was younger, I had this terrible issue where I would flit. I'd flit from project to project to project, and nothing would ever get finished. I've actually managed to resolve that. It's a bloody good thing I have as well, because it was a pretty bad habit I would have of starting projects and never finishing them. I can't remember what helped with that. I don't know. Having an audience, having someone who actually cared about what you did, I think that probably one of the major factors. And having a persona, like Xbox Ahoy. Being Xbox Ahoy gives me a sort of purpose and a role, It sort of prevents me from wandering too far from the remit of the Ahoy channel. So if I ever fancy doing a video on graphic design, I can think to myself, well, that's a little bit outside of the wheelhouse, isn't it? It's not really something you could do. It might be something I'd like to do, but it's not something that I could do on the main channel. I mean, I could do it if I really wanted to, but it's not, I mean, anything I do for the main channel, is, it kind of steers the channel, if you know what I mean. And it's not a direction in which I wish to steer. Yeah, I mean, that's the guiding factor. You know, what do I want? You know, what is the Ahoy channel and what do I want it to become? That is the principal sort of defining factor in what I do and the direction I choose to go. It's one of the key reasons I don't do stuff like weapon guides. I wouldn't mind doing a weapon guide. I'd love to do like Modern Warfare Remastered. I have a lot of love for COD 4, but I don't want to steer back towards the waters that surround weapon guides, because I don't think, honestly, I don't get any real creative satisfaction from doing weapon guides anymore, and I don't think there's a future in doing COD weapon guides, quite frankly, because I don't think the COD series is going to be around in 5-10 years, and I've got to think, well, I plan on being around in 5-10 years, so if I'm doing COD weapon guides, what the hell would what would I be doing in 5-10 years? I'd be struggling to make a living, that's what. So we've got to steer into fresh water, which is not that fresh anymore, but, you know, kind of this sort of video game documentary area, which, my boat is too slow, but but we're getting there. We're getting there. I think last year we made some pretty good discoveries, I think. What did we do last year? Well, I had a baby. Yes, that's true. I re-uploaded the old Retro Hoys. And, well, I did the id trilogy. I did Nuclear Fruit. Nuclear Fruit was a great learning experience for me. I'm not 100% satisfied with the way the time was spent, but I think I am a better video maker for having done that. Really, I think I learned an awful lot. But yeah, I think so. Yeah, Nuclear Fruit, definitely a very strong learning experience. And then the id trilogy, Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, Quake. I realised that I don't have to have any gimmicks. I can just do a video about a game and make it interesting and long and substantial, and it will still work. And there's a couple of others there. I think the Crash video showed that, you know, I can get some cool music and some cool graphics into a relatively compact format that still works. I mean, the Crash video got 600k. It did better than the Quake video, in actual fact. So yeah, I'd love to do more videos like the Crash video in the future. And then the Zombies video, which didn't do as well in terms of views, but it still did pretty gosh darn well. I think that the Zombies video was good. It had a killer soundtrack as well. I liked the music for Zombies. I liked doing it. You know, the bass line, it's shambling. It's dun 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 dun. Yeah, had kind of an odd cadence to it, which mirrors the shambling nature of Zombies. That's a format I would definitely like to revisit. Kind of, what did I call it? Iconic bestiary, iconic monsters, I don't know. Something like that. It's a counterpart to Iconic Arms about bad guys. I think I'd like to do that again. I will do, at some point in the future. Yeah, it's just a question of actually producing them, though, isn't it? Here I am spinning my wheels. But you have to have a certain degree of faith, I suppose. And yeah, hopefully. I want 2017 to be a good year. It might not be. Time will tell. Just have to stay pointed in the right direction and just invest what time I get into actually putting something together. And with a spot of luck, it'll work out. And yeah, I might yet get that gold play button. And if I ever do a bonus, I might yet get the silver play button for my second channel as well. I'd have, fancy that. If I had a million subscribers on my main channel and 100k, well, I do have 100k. But for some reason, it takes a little while to get a silver play button. Then I'll have 3 awards. Ooh. I wonder how much a gold play button's actually worth. It's not real gold, is it? I don't think it is, or gold plated. Not worth anything in terms of bullion weight. I might have a look on the eBay. Fine, restart the app. I just want to know how much a gold play button is. Also, I'd like a pointless trophy and maybe one of the crystals from the Crystal Maze. That's the sort of thing I'd love to buy on eBay. Just trophies for things that I haven't won. Search eBay. Gold play button. I've spelled button wrong. There's no H in button. Oh, come on. Why won't you... Fingers, why won't you fing? Oh, it's a replica. I don't want a replica. I want the real thing. I want someone's gold play button. Metal badge, £8.11. Replicas, replicas, replicas. All right, let's sort by price descending. Highest price plus postage. Nobody's selling that gold play button. I suppose, I mean, they do come with the name printed on them. They just sell replicas. I'm not seeing any real ones. I suppose it's a good, if you have a kid that's really, a lot of children are into YouTube, and a lot of them are into YouTubers, aren't they? I suppose it'd be a nice little present, you know, for a kid's wall, you know. If they've got a YouTube channel with like 3 subscribers, for Christmas you can get them a little thing that says, congratulations on getting 1 million subscribers. It's not real. It's not the real deal. I think I've run out of topics. I'm tired. I've run out of beer, almost. And I've run out of topics. So it's probably... so bitter. Okay, I'm going to finish it. Consider my bonbons brisade.